Well, thank you all for joining us today. It's important to note that it's required that we celebrate days like today. But first, I'd like to thank Bishop Mike Coyner for joining us. We honor our connection to the Methodist Church and the Methodist Conference that enabled this university to be founded. Thank you also to Mayor Sue Murray for being here. It's because of the generosity of the first inhabitants of Greencastle that our university was founded here in our hometown. Madam Mayor, you represent the citizens of a town that has hosted this institution through a civil war, 2 world wars, 33 United States presidents, and 19 university presidents. 50 Greencastle mayors have sat with those 19 university presidents as part of a bond that is part of both of our histories. I'd like to also acknowledge the members of the Board of Trustees who funded today's events and who are funding these celebrations. We begin today an 18-month celebration of DePauw University. Its past, its present, and most importantly, its future. We honor first all of those who've gone before us, the nearly 250,000 students who at one time came to this campus, and the hundreds of faculty and staff members who once called this university their home. We honor, of course, the university's founders. From the beginning, the founders of the school imagined that this would be an institution of national stature. The college was, quote, forever to be conducted on the most liberal principles, accessible to all religious denominations, and designed for the benefit of our citizens across the nation. The charter for the university was authorized in January of 1837, when the state of Indiana was itself new. By spring of that year, a board of trustees had been assembled and construction plans for the first campus building drawn up. On June 20th of 1837, a very large crowd, the largest ever seen in Greencastle, assembled for the laying of the cornerstone that would be the university's only building for several years. A building that eventually became known as West College. What we now think of as East College would come several years later. In the crowd that day was the man who would be the second president of the university and the man who would eventually be the third. Also in the crowd that day was the man who would eventually be the great-grandfather of DePauw's 9th president. Matthew Simpson, then only 27 years old and a professor at Allegheny College, was not in Greencastle on either the founding day or on the laying of the cornerstone for West College. He would receive word of his appointment as the university's first president in a few months' time. The first session of the school was actually, and fittingly, a winter term session, beginning in November of 1837 when the school had 40 enrolled students. The students enrolled that term ranged in age from 13 to 28. Tuition was $5. Things have changed, and we're not going back. And so it all began. Now, one can't really know what was in the minds and hearts of those who created this university nearly 2 centuries ago. But surely we know that they were hopeful. Creating new universities is nothing if not a remarkable act of hope. And that is why we're here today, to acknowledge that hope. And among the many things the founders hoped for was us. They hoped for our students, our faculty, and they hoped for this day. And we should hope, in turn, that 25 years from now, as DePauw enters its 3rd century, that our successors will gather again on this campus. In 2037, there'll be a new group of DePauw students and faculty and staff gathered to celebrate a school that had begun in 2012, a time of significant growth and accomplishment. Schools such as ours have difficult times, and then they have brighter moments. The brighter moments come when you look forward, when you have hope and energy and drive, and that we have. History, it is said, is written in chapters. And today, inspired by the past, we begin to write our chapter. The past is prologue for those who are brave about the future. This is a great day and a good moment for DePauw. It is, as our founders truly hoped it would be, our time.